starting to heat up, ladies and gentlemen, and one of the most creative scores in the W.
Starting to go on a rampage here. They've cut it to 5.
And with the first overall selection in the 2023 NHL Draft, the Chicago Blackhawks are very proud to select from the Regina Pats, the Western Hockey League, Connor Bedard.
What is going on, everybody? This is Mike Hughes, and you're listening to Mike on the Mic and Everything Chicago Sports-related podcast. Got an episode tonight for you guys that honestly I'm not excited about making. I'm not excited about whatsoever. There is no bright side to this. There is no bright side to this. I got a couple for you. That we're lined up with. Today is October 2nd, 2023. First and foremost, I want to say happy birthday to my dad. The legend himself would have been 62 years old today. So I want to say happy birthday to a Bears legend. But with that being said, man, I mean, getting into it, let's talk about it. The Chicago Bears drop one of the biggest games they've had in probably the last 2-3 years. I mean, this was the best version of this team from quarter one to, let's be real, the beginning of quarter three that we've seen in years. Offensively, this is the best offensive set we have seen. Against an 0-3 Denver Broncos team that got dropped by 70 points against the Miami Dolphins in week 3, we are up 21-7 at half. Justin Fields breaks a Chicago Bears single game record for perfection in the first half of the game, going 16 for 16. An amazing start to the game. An absolute amazing start to the game. Luke Getsy looks phenomenal. Matt Eberflus is staying out of the way. The defense is so banged up, but they're holding it down. We're missing Jalen Johnson. We're missing Kyler Gordon and Eddie Jackson, but we're holding it down. We're holding it down. It honestly, it was a phenomenal start to the game. No lie. I'm sitting there. I'm texting my guy, Rob Scott. I'm texting all my guys in Chicago. I told you. Fields is him. He's the guy. You just have to allow him to be the guy. And then the second half of the game comes. We have so much to unpack today. We have so much to talk about. I'm excited to talk about it. We have Chicago Bulls Media Day. That was really cool to hear from Lonzo Ball, to hear from Javon Carter, who grew up in Maywood, Illinois. You know, you see Levine, you see DeRozan, you saw Kobe White messing with Zach. Zach said he's tired of his shit. But, you know, it's all fun. It's all fun. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens this year in Chicago. We got Bedard news. We got everything going on. The Cubs just got eliminated. But let's focus on this Bears game. What's in front of us right now? What is in front of the Chicago Bears organization moving forward? I mean, there's really no words to express what happened. So I'm going to go through the stat sheet really quick. We're gonna drop some numbers. And I appreciate everybody tuning in today. If you're new here, definitely smack that follow button because we're going live all the time talking Bears football. But let's talk about Justin Fields having the greatest passing game he's had so far in the NFL. He goes 28 for 35, starting the game 16 for 16 with 4 passing touchdowns and an interception late in the game. We're going to get into that interception and more because a lot of that, there's a lot that goes into that interception, and I want to talk about it because I'm really excited to see what everybody else feels about it. But 335 yards, first time he passes over 300 yards in his career. 4 for 25 on the ground. Didn't see a lot of them. You saw him too. He goes on the right-hand hash. He's about to go run into the end zone. He understands he's probably going to get lit up. He makes a great throw, and he gets a touchdown. I love it. We get to see the best version of Justin Fields. The best version of Justin Fields is what we saw, and I loved it, and I was here for it. Now, we're going to get into what happened in the second half. Don't get it twisted. I want everybody who's here right now, hit that follow button if you haven't already, because we're going to keep it real. We're going to keep it a buck. We're going to keep it a buck on what happened, all right? I'm not going to sit here and just feed you bullshit. We got to talk about it. Khalil Herbert had a great day. 18 carries for 103 yards. He also had 4 for 19 in the passing game and had a passing touchdown. You have DJ Moore go 8 for 131 yards and a touchdown. You have Cole Kmet 7 for 85. 85 gets 85 and 2 passing touchdowns. Absolutely amazing game. So if I would have told you the Chicago Bears played the 0-3 Denver Broncos, who lost by 70 points last week, Justin Fields threw 4 touchdowns, went 28 for 35, 335 yards. DJ Moore had over 130 yards and a touchdown. Cole Kmet had 2 touchdowns and over 80 yards. You have Mooney, who went 4 for 51. If I told you, and obviously Khalil Herbert over 100 yards as well, would you believe me if I said we lost that game? That's crazy to me, bro. Oh, and by the way, we were up 28-7. We were up 28. But everyone in the comments right now is saying, yeah, I would believe you. That's sad, bro. That is so sad. That is insane that we can't even trust ourselves to close out a 28-7 lead with a defensive-minded coordinator guru in Matt Eberflus, whose defense hasn't had a sack in forever. I mean, there were 2 guys who had half a sack, Dominique Robinson and Zach Pickens, combined for a half a sack each, combining for 1 sack as total. But the Bears got sacked 3 times, and it was just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Now, there were so many things that went wrong throughout this game, and whether that's the progressions or whether that's, them thinking they had it in the bag at halftime, I don't know what truly happened, but the comments from Matt Eberflus and Luke Getsy just weren't it. I mean, I saw in the press conference, I saw a lot of people filming Justin Fields looking distraught, looking like he was lost. He was in a different universe. I mean, after the game, he just sat in his locker like this, just staring into space, lost. I mean, and you got a lot of fans out here talking about right now, as it sits today, the Chicago Bears have the number 1 overall pick in 2024 and the number 2 overall pick in 2024. So everyone's posting about, Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. and the new dynamic duo. It means nothing to me if we don't make any changes. Let's talk about what we talked about a month ago, talking about Justin Fields and DJ Moore and how we were excited about that. You think I'm excited about Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. if we can't actually develop them? If we don't actually have a system in place, an offensive scheme that we believe in, that we say, hey, this is the scheme. I mean, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, that's the scheme. You look at the 49ers, Christian McCaffrey, that's the scheme. If that doesn't work, Deebo Samuel, that's the scheme. If that doesn't work, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, there's a bunch of guys they utilize to the best of their ability. Jalen Hurts, that's the scheme. And then you have these situations right now. And the craziest thing to me is where we're at defensively, I think is the big question mark. I understand, the majority of your secondary is out. Jaquan Brisker was banged up in this game. You're obviously already missing Eddie Jackson. You're missing Kyler Gordon. You're missing Jalen Johnson. You have a rookie out there in Tyreek Stevenson, and that's in year 2 guy in Jaquan. But the reality of that situation is this. When you're a defensive-minded guy and you have the linebackers that you have TJ Edwards, who is a top 15 linebacker. You have Tremaine Edmonds, who's arguably top 10. I can't use words today. And then you have Jack Sanborn, who was very promising last week. He almost had an interception this week. It was great to see him get after it. He got called on a shiesty penalty, but, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, when you have those guys and you have Javon Dexter and you bring in Zach Pickens and you have DeMarcus Walker, who had over 7 sacks last year, you have a guy in Yannick Ngakoue who was in the cold system last year as well, who had over 9 sacks. And now you're looking at both of them, and we don't blitz. We don't get after the quarterback. We don't tackle well. We aren't good at discipline. We talk about the hits principle. We talk about discipline all year long, about these guys are going to play the right version of football. That's just not the case. You know what I mean? These guys are undisciplined. They are not bought in whatsoever. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy to me. But yeah, it's definitely something right now. I'm looking at it for what it is, and you can see the writings on the walls. I feel like how I did in 2021 with Matt Nagy and the last year of Mark Trestman. And it's crazy to me that this is year 2 in Flus' system, and I already feel like guys aren't bought in. Let's talk about what happened with Chase Claypool. Chase Claypool is not only being shopped right now on the market by Ryan Poles, it's being reported right now that we're looking for a 5th or a 6th round pick for a guy that we traded the 33rd overall pick in last year's draft for. He gave us 1 touchdown. Somebody said, who are you cheering for in the MLB playoffs? Honestly, I'm cheering for the Orioles now that the Cubbies are out of it. I try not to go for NL teams. That's not my style. But I'll go for the Orioles because Brandon Hyde, who used to be the Cubs bench coach. But back to it. Talking about Chase Claypool, he makes an idiotic comment. Let's be real for what it was. It was an idiotic comment. He should have made the comment he made. It's bad. It's demoralizing for an entire locker room. Nonetheless, the coaching staff, him saying that they don't utilize him correctly, him saying that, no, they don't use me. No. And he makes a face. First of all, he's been a diva his whole career. He's been a diva at Notre Dame. He was trying to be a diva in Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin didn't want to put up with that shit, and he traded him away for a 2nd-round pick that turned into a 1st. And honestly, GG's to Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin is my favorite coach in the league, without question. And I'm a big believer in if Mike Tomlin doesn't believe in you, that means one of 2 things. 1, you don't put in work, or 2, you're an asshole. That's what it is. Like, look at the guys he's dealt with. Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, Big Ben, all these different personalities, all these different guys who have all these different issues on and off the field. And then you realize the only reason he put up with them is because they were bought into his system, they respected him, and they actually showed up and worked every single day. The second they stopped doing that, he cut ties with them. That's why you see a guy like Chase Claypool get traded. That's the reality. That's why I wasn't happy about it. You guys, if you were here, hey, if you're new here, I'm happy. Welcome to the community. If you hit that follow button, if you haven't already, hit it for us. But if you've been here for a while, then you understand where I'm coming from. I said it from the very beginning. I was not happy about it. If we traded for DJ Moore last year at the deadline, if we traded for Jerry Jeudy or somebody else along those lines who was potentially on the block at the wide receiver position, if you even would have brought in Odell Beckham Jr., I would have understood it. You brought in Chase Claypool, who Mike Tomlin couldn't fix. Mike Tomlin couldn't fix him. We're not fixing him. Like, that's the reality. And now we're going to trade him for a 5th or a 6th round pick, if anything, because I doubt anybody really wants to do that and deal with that noise at this point. He's not productive. He's not bought in. We had issues with him week 1. I will say this, though, to Chase Claypool's defense, because I'm not going to sit here and say it's a one-way street. It's a 2-way street, motherfucker. Part of my language, but it is a 2-way street. Eberflus, a healthy scratch, that was a weak move. That was a weak move. You could say, oh, well, he's a team cancer. We don't want him in the facility. Blah, 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 blah. You're weak, bro. You're weak, because here's the thing. Justin Fields just last week got caught up in the same shit with the media. Got caught up in the same stuff, saying that maybe it's coaching. DJ Moore was mic'd up talking to Barrett during the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, where they said, hey, bro, they don't use you right. DJ Moore looked that man straight in the face, mic'd up, and said, tell me about it. So let me get this straight. QB1 is saying it's the coaching. Wide receiver 1 is saying, hey, man, tell me about it. They don't use me right. Chase Claypool says it, and it's a problem. Like, what an scapegoat, bro. Like, that is so weak to me. You could literally sit up here and say, oh, well, it's different because Chase was already a problem. Sure, but what he said wasn't wrong. Should he have said it from an athletic standpoint, from somebody who's been a part of organizations before, and hearing those inside and intrusive thoughts leak into a clubhouse, leak into a locker room? It's definitely demoralizing, but sometimes it's just what needs to be done. I mean, that's just facts. Let's be real. Like, Claypool, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I'm more of a production guy. What are you doing when you get here? Boss? And he hasn't been anything. 1 touchdown is all I got out of that. I can't take anything from that. You know what I mean? So, it is what it is. Talking about the rest of the game, Russell Wilson, 21 for 28 with 223 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. Jerry Jeudy led the receivers, 3 for 52 yards. Now, there were a lot of things that went into this game. Obviously, the defense just got picked apart in the second half. Justin Fields didn't look as hot as he did in the first half, but it's hard to when you're damn near perfect in the first half. But, they run the ball. They buy some clock. And again, we're starting to see QB sneaks on 4th down with Cole Kmet. They got it this time. Not last time, but this time they got it. Another QB sneak with Cole Kmet baffles my mind why they think that's going to continuously work. I get it. Cole Kmet's 6'6", he's giant. But at the end of the day, put the ball in Justin's hands. Justin Fields is giant. Justin Fields is enormous. He's athletic. He's strong. If it's a QB sneak, use the quarterback. It's a QB fucking sneak. And you got the tight end. It's crazy. It's crazy. And you know what? I get it. Maybe it worked out this time, but okay, so you got 50% chance right now that it works. Because we're 1-2 on. But I mean, at the end of the day, man, I can't sit up here and say that Eberflus and Getsy have done right by this team and by this organization. They're throwing guys under the bus left and right. Justin Fields throws the pick at the end of the game. But I will say this. I'm not mad that they went for it on 4th down. I'm not mad. I'm not mad that they went for it on 4th down. You could say they should have took the field goal, 31-31, tie game, going to overtime, see what happens. You could. Winners win. Winners win. And going for it on 4th and 1 was the right move. Now, what I will say is this. Running the ball with Khalil Herbert on 4th and 1 in game time decision is not the right move. And Eberflus says, oh, well, we were just riding the hot hand. Herbs was hot. It is 4th and 1. The game is on the line. Put the ball in the best player's hands. That's Justin Fields. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You just ran the ball 4 straight times and then did it again. Get the ball in Justin's hands and he'll make a play. Speaking of that, Justin, I appreciate the follow. But in all seriousness, I wasn't mad they went for it on 4th down. I was mad at how they executed the play. You HB dived it? HB weak-sided it? It's some Madden type shit? What are we doing? What are we doing? It blew my mind. It really did. I didn't have any words when I saw that play. I was like, really, bro? You have Cole Kmet, who's been hot all day. You have DJ Moore, who's over 130 yards. You have Justin Fields, who's one of the most athletic quarterbacks in the league right now. One of the bigger bodies. But, you look at that and you have that conversation and you say, did we just give up on that play? We were just okay if we didn't get it? Like, that's wild to me, bro. That is wild to me, bro. I have nothing to say. I have no words. But yeah, we're definitely, I see all the Cubs comments. We're definitely going to be talking about the Cubs later tonight or tomorrow morning. I'm really excited about that. I promise right now we're doing our Bears therapy episode. We're live right now on all social media platforms. But I promise we're going to be talking Cubs. And then to end the game, I want to say something disrespectful, but I want to be respectful when I say it. Cole Kmet had a great game. Cole Kmet had a phenomenal day. 7 for 85, 2 touchdowns, looked great. Did his little, swing of the bat. Cool, man. That's great. That was a horrible swing of the bat. I promise you, I used to play baseball. I still play baseball. But, you do your little swing and whatever, bro. Like, I get it. You went to Notre Dame. But here's my thing. The interception by Justin Fields, I've heard both of them say something where it's like there was a miscommunication and Cole didn't run the right route and Justin thought he was going to be a little bit higher up than he was. Here's the reality. There was about a foot of separation between him and the safety that was on, the safety Kareem Jackson of the Denver Broncos. I want everybody in the chat to let me know if I'm tweaking. Please hold me accountable. Hold me accountable if I'm wrong. But when they are hand in hand, hip to hip on each other, and Justin Fields throws that ball in that crucial time where we're down 28-31, there's less than a minute left on the clock, and Cole Kmet just lets this guy get the ball. I understand Justin didn't make the right throw. Cole also wasn't in the right spot, but they are still hip to hip. I want to throw something at you right now. Kareem Jackson, the safety who made that interception, is 5'10" and 35 years old. 5'10" and 35 years old. Cole Kmet is 6'6" and 24. 6'6" and 24. Be a grown-ass man for the first time in your life, please. Please. I mean, play big, bro. Every time I see Cole Kmet make a catch, anytime I see Cole Kmet do anything, he's wide open. He's wide open. He doesn't play big. He doesn't play aggressive. I mean, like, if we're being completely honest, every single catch he had, every single touchdown he had, he was solid. He was not being contested. He was not being wrapped up. I've seen a couple times where he's made great plays. That game against Carolina last year, or was it his rookie year or last year? He had a great touchdown in the red zone, in the end zone, and it was great. He battled, he threw a guy off him. That was great. But that's not Cole. Cole is not aggressive. If that's George Kittle, if that's Travis Kelce, if that's Robert Tonyan, they are getting that ball or at least knocking it out of that safety's hand. Cole just stood there and was like, Justin overthrew it, and that was it. That was game. You're hip to hip. He is 5'10" and 35 years old. 5'10" and 35 years old. Kareem Jackson, the safety, outworks and outmans a 6'6", 24-year-old tight end. Big-time players make big-time plays, and you're playing like a bitch. Respectfully. That sounds horrible. I'm sorry, and I know that's not that. Maybe that's not proper language. Maybe that's that's the difference between me and guys like Adam Hogue or guys who are on the radio or guys like that. But like, be real. As an athlete, bro, as a baller, as somebody who's played, as somebody who's watched the game my whole life, if you are 6'6", 240, and 24 years old, and a 35-year-old who's my height, just outmanned you. Didn't even outplay you. Didn't even outstep you. Just outmanned you. He overpowered, he oversized you. That's what it was. Somebody in the comments just said I look like Cole Kmet. If I look like Cole Kmet, I'd turn my camera off right now because I'd be embarrassed. 2 touchdowns, cool. 85 yards, cool. You want to go talk to the media and say there was a miscommunication, that's fine. I'm not mad about the miscommunication. I am mad that during that play, you did not try to get that ball out of that, not a receiver, but out of the receiver's hands, out of that safety's hands. You are next to him. You are hip to hip. Please, bro. I mean, and Justin, the fuck? What are we doing? Oh, yeah, miscommunication. Game on the line and there's a miscommunication? We're 0-3. We don't have time for miscommunications, bro. I don't have words. I really don't. You know what I mean? And that's really what it is. And here's the thing. Somebody in the comments right there. What's his name? Kyle Kinsley. Amazing comment. Justin was never the guy, though. Here's what I'll say. Here's what I've learned about Justin Fields. I'm still in on Justin Fields. I believe that through the right coaching and through the right system, Justin Fields can succeed. It won't be in Chicago. I can tell you that because we're not going to give him the right system. And if we bring in a new system, he's definitely not going to be the quarterback for it. But what I will say is this. Justin Fields does not have that clutch gene. I've seen him 2 times now. 3 times, really. Let's talk about the week before this against Tampa, 2 weeks ago. You throw a pick 6 at the end of the game in crunch time to end the game. Last year, we saw it against the Detroit Lions in crunch time, end of the game on the line. You threw a pick 6 to end the game. Now today, or yesterday, I should say, throw an interception and lose the game. He doesn't have that clutch factor, and that's fine. I don't need you to have that clutch factor. You know what I mean? We can get a receiver that does. We can get somebody on this team that does. What I do need is competence. I need you to be competent. That's what it is. You need to look good against bad teams because, let's be real, everybody in here, we got 60 people in here right now. If he looked horrible against the Denver Broncos, we'd all be calling for his head. So I'm happy he looked great. An 0-3 team who got dropped by 70 last week, you got to look great against him. He did. He broke records in his career. Over 300 yards for the first time, 4 passing touchdowns, 16 for 16. That's what you want to see. If you look bad against the Chiefs, bad against the Eagles, bad against the Lions, that's fine. But against horrible teams, you need to look good. So I was happy about that. But Matt Eberflus just looked like shit. The whole team looked like shit. They didn't look good. And that's what it is. That's what it is. But, at the end of the day, we're going on a short week. So we're going to be playing against the Washington Commanders, who just gave Philly that work. They lost that game, but they were giving the Eagles that work, bro. It's not going to be an easy game. Sam Howell is who we thought Mitchell Trubisky would be out of UNC. There's been one Carolina Tar Heel quarterback who have success, and it's not Trubisky. It is Sam motherfucking Howell. He is the truth. Ron Rivera, former 85 Bear and Super Bowl champion, Bears legend, is going to come here, or we're going there, wherever it is. He's going to make us look like an idiot. He's going to make Flus look horrible. So I'm starting a petition. I'm excited about it. I hope you guys are too. Fire Flus Friday. It's going to be a great day. Triple F, Fire Flus Friday. Hope you guys can get back behind it, because if we drop to 0-5, Flus needs to go. Fire Flus Friday. Can't fire him on a short week. Got to play the game on Thursday, but Fires Flus Friday. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Dylan's here for it. Everybody else is here for it. But you guys, I appreciate you guys for tuning in tonight. This has been our Bears therapy session for week 4. Week 3 was only available on our podcast. You can find me on Mike on the Mic podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You can see a little Chicago logo with 4 little mics. Definitely check that out if you haven't already. We talked about the Kansas City Chiefs, Matt Nagy, Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, and so much more. But until then, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you're new here, hit that follow button, please, because we are talking Bulls, Bears, Blackhawks, White Sox, Cubs, everything Chicago sports. We're going to be talking about it. Chicago Sky, Chicago Fire. Messi's coming into town. Probably won't play, but we're talking about it anyways. I appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. If you guys haven't already, like I said, hit that follow button, because it definitely does help me out a lot. Until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Starting to heat up, ladies and gentlemen, and one of the most creative scores in the W.
Starting to go on a rampage here. They've cut it to 5.
And with the first overall selection in the 2023 NHL Draft, the Chicago Blackhawks are very proud to select from the Regina Pats, the Western Hockey League, Connor Bedard.